guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annelies and today I will be talking about 4 new fragrances. I'm doing the air quote thing because technically these are re-releases, but these are re-releases that haven't been released for several years. They're pretty old-ish. I mean, there are some other re-releases on the Zara website right now, but those are releases that they've re-released after like a year or maybe 2 years. These though haven't been online for several years, if I'm not mistaken, but for me these are new because I never tried them the first times they were available. And I'm saying the first times because they've actually been re-released already a few years after their first release, and so now they are back. Unfortunately, I cannot compare them to the original release because sometimes Zara just re-releases fragrances under the same name, but they do alter the fragrance or they tweak the notes a little bit. I'm sorry, I've never tried the first release of these fragrances because I was just not really into Zara fragrances at the time. Actually, I wasn't into fragrances at all. I had like one signature scent that I just got because it was cheap. So yeah, for me, these are new. This is the first time that I have smelled them. So if you want to know what my opinions are, keep on watching. But first, if you're like me and you love Zara fragrances, or you're just trying to get to know them a little bit better because there are so many and they come and they go, and then they have new ones and then they re-release some old ones, and you just don't know where to begin, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I make mostly Zara fragrance related content, so do check that out. There's a lot of it already up on my channel, and I do plan on reviewing every new fragrance that Zara releases. So now back to the fragrances. These come in bottles of 100 ml and they retail for roughly 18 euros in Europe, 28 US dollars and 33 Canadian dollars. And also I'm gonna tell you, I already checked these on Fragrantica and supposedly these are all dupes. And they are all dupes for sort of millennial fragrances, let's say. If you're a millennial like me, you might like this release because they all smell like pretty well-known or popular fragrances from back in the day. Let's start with the first one, and that is White Jasmine. Okay, and also I will be putting the Fragrantica notes up on the screen as I usually do. Just know that the notes in the description on the Zara website are kind of different from the notes on the Fragrantica website, and also the notes on Fragrantica are from the earlier releases, so they're not new, they're not updated to this collection that they just re-released. So take the notes on the screen with a huge grain of salt. So the notes listed by Zara on the website are Gardenia, Jasmine, White Peach, and Tonka. So pretty different from the notes on Fragrantica. Now, what does it really smell like? I gave it a spray, and the first thing that I smelled was something citrusy. Now I know that is not listed in the notes. We have peach or white peach in the description by Zara, and then we have green apple in the notes on Fragrantica. Personally, I would think that this had some lemon. It's just zesty, citrusy, very fresh. To me, it also has a little bit of a clean linen type of scent. So I don't know what the molecule is or the chemical ingredient that they use for that type of fragrance, but it has something, maybe it's aldehydes, I could be wrong here, but it does have a little bit of a, you know, that clean linen type of scent. Just has a little bit of a, it's not soapy, but sort of like detergent-y type of note. I don't know if you know what I mean, but this one has that a little bit. I could swear that it has a little bit of white woods in the base, or maybe some cedar wood, but it doesn't, or at least it's not listed, but it does have a little bit of that, yeah, a little bit of a dryness to it. It also smells green, so what I'm smelling is a citrusy, green, white floral with a clean linen-like vibe and a little bit of cedar wood in the base. That's just what I'm picking up on. I'm not really getting tonka, but I've never smelled tonka in its purest form. So the only thing that I know as tonka is just the fragrances that I have and that I have smelled that had tonka in it. So you kind of see a pattern after a while. Maybe it has tonka, but I'm not really getting that. It actually reminds me a little bit of another Zara fragrance that was released in the men's department. It was one of the fragrances created by Olivia Giacobetti. She's a perfumer who made a collection last year. And one of those fragrances was called Livre Blanc, which means white book. This one actually sort of reminds me of that one. That also had that white wood, you know, like a white wooden dresser that has like clean white linens in there. I always felt that that fragrance reminded me of that particular image. This one does as well, although this one has that citrusy white floral vibe to it. By the way, if you want to check that video out, I will put it in the description below. But yeah, if you ask me, this is quite a pleasant fragrance. It's a like, it's not a love. I do think it becomes better in the final dry down. So do give it a minute or like 20, 30 before you can actually really grasp the fragrance, because at first it's a little sharp. I didn't really love it in the first minutes, but it became really nice after that 20-30 minute mark. Oh, and I totally forgot to tell you what it is duping. So the fragrance that this is a dupe of is Noa by Cacharel. That one was released in 1998. I know that fragrance, like I've smelled that one on my sister and some people from school when I was about, yeah, I think it was like 2001, 2002. So the fragrance Noa reminds me of that time period. Now I do think it's a dupe. I do think it's close enough. I don't really think it's a one-on-one dupe though. I do think there are some differences. But yeah, I haven't smelled Noa in such a long time. I'm talking literally like 20 years or something like that. No, even more. I think even more, like 22 years I haven't smelled Noa. But if this were a really good dupe, I would expect to feel like I'm back in 2002. And I don't really have that. So after seeing on Fragrantica that it was compared to Noa, I was like, oh yeah, they're right. It does sort of smell like Noa by Cacharel, but I don't think it's an exact dupe. I feel like this fragrance is best when it's sunny out. I don't know why. It's probably that citrusy vibe that I'm getting, or those fresh white florals. There's no sweetness in here, by the way, so you do have to know that. It's not a white floral like Alien or Livre or something. Those all have vanilla or amber or something in the base. This one doesn't have that sweet base. It's really dry, green, citrusy, fresh. And also I gave this one a few sprays on my curtains. The day before yesterday, the sun was out and I had like a spring breeze coming in through the window, and I sprayed it on those curtains, and that actually smelled super nice as well. So if you like this fragrance but you're not sure if you want to wear it as a person, that's just a tip. I think this could work as a room spray as well. It's very spring-like, very clean and fresh. So yeah, again, it's a like for me. I don't love it, I don't adore it, but I would rate this fragrance a 7 out of 10, and that was Zara White Jasmine. The next fragrance we're gonna talk about is Powdery Magnolia. And according to the Zara description, this has notes of dark flowers such as black peony, and it also has peach and patchouli. Although the notes on Fragrantica are pretty different. They say that it has bergamot, magnolia, rose, musk, and amber, but the re-release in 2016 also mentions a tarragon note, some cedar, and a lychee note. So which ones are the right ones? I don't know. Honestly, I mean, it could just be that it smelled different back then than it does now. That's the case for all of these fragrances. So again, please, the notes that I'm putting up on the screen, you really have to take them with a huge grain of salt. Now, this supposedly is a dupe for Chloe by Chloe, another popular fragrance for us millennial gals. That one is a soft but also strong, but not overly strong rose fragrance, a very dry rose in my opinion, very classy. That one was actually released in 2008, so a little bit later, well, quite a lot later than Noa, but yeah, again, it's more of a, I wouldn't call it a classic, maybe it's not old enough to be called a classic fragrance, but yeah. If you're in your 30s and you love fragrances, you probably know what Chloe by Chloe smells like. It's just one of those fragrances that we all have a friend that wore it back in the day or wears it now, or we wore it. So yeah, supposedly a dupe for that. Now, honestly, I gave it a spray, and in the opening, it reminded me of another Zara fragrance. This one was, I think it was a release last year, but it was a really short, yeah, they released it, and I think not even 2 months later, they already put it up on sale and they were gone. So that one didn't last very long. The one that I'm talking about is Bluebird Orchid. I had to look it up. I didn't remember the name. But the opening sort of smells the same. It also has that like soapiness, aldehydic. I don't know if I'm using the term right, but yeah, sort of a, I think it's aldehydes, but yeah, sort of like that. But then I let it dry down for a few minutes. And that is when I did get the Chloe DNA. However, where I live, the Chloe by Chloe really isn't expensive anymore. I got a bottle of 30 ml for 30 euros, shipping included. I did declutter mine just because it was a like, not a love, again. But that's pretty inexpensive. Of course, it depends on where you live. Now, honestly, of course, this one is a lot less expensive, but I still think that original Chloe by Chloe is the right choice to make if you want to smell like Chloe by Chloe. It's definitely similar. I do get where people are getting that Chloe DNA from, but I don't really think it's a good dupe. It really feels like a Temu copy of Chloe. And I don't know what the Temu fragrances smell like. Am I even saying that right? Or is it Wish? Or did it used to be Wish? You know what I mean. So they're really cheap, poorly made dupes. I feel like Zara has released a lot better dupes. I'm thinking Golden Decade, Hypnotic Vanilla, or yeah, Hypnotic Vanilla, Gardenia. I mean, actually so many other dupes are pretty good. They're not spot on, but they're very close. Rose Gourmand, I mean, they're very similar, close enough to be called dupes. This one, I would say, is more of an inspired by. There's something about this fragrance that just isn't doing it for me. Whereas original Chloe, like I said, I don't adore that fragrance, but I remember the first time that I smelt it, well, not that I smelt it, but that I opened my bottle and I gave it a spray, and I really liked what I was smelling. And this one is just, I'm not really feeling the love, if you know what I mean. So it's okay. It's Chloe-ish. It's like an unfinished Chloe, or a Chloe with some quality issues. There's just something about it that's not like it's not really well rounded. Also, this one does get better in the dry down, so do give it, like the previous one, 20, maybe 30 minutes before you really judge it. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because it's not a bad fragrance. If you really want a Chloe-like fragrance for a really low price, then yes, you're good to go. But if you have the budget and you want a Chloe fragrance or Chloe by Chloe, I would still recommend Chloe by Chloe. How many times did I say Chloe? Chloe, 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 and that was it. So that was ZARA Powdery Magnolia. The next fragrance we're gonna talk about is called Bright Rose. And I have 3 sets of notes. So on the Zara website, they describe this one as having notes of bergamot and peach. Then we also have Lily of the Valley and Jasmine, sandalwood, patchouli, vetiver, and dry woods. Then I found 2 listings on Fragrantica. One is actually called Bright Rose. The other one is called Rose, but that one was part of a series that also has 2 of these. So I think they also had, yeah, one of the other ones. So I felt like it could be that one. And the other one is actually called Bright Rose, but both of those supposedly smell like Narciso Rodriguez For Her. And then Zara has another fragrance also called Rose, which supposedly is a dupe for J'adore. So I'm super confused, but yeah, I'm just gonna put the notes up on the screen again. Don't count on them. But anyway, both of these Fragrantica listings say that it smells of Narciso Rodriguez For Her, which is a fragrance that I absolutely hate. I think it is a horrible, horrible fragrance. I can't stand it. So needless to say that I'm not loving this one. So first off, does it smell like For Her? In my opinion, yes. Now, it's been a long time since I smelled original For Her. By the way, I'm talking about the pink bottle, which I think is the EDP. I know that the black bottle is very popular. I think that's the wait, let me check. Yeah, so the pink bottle that comes in a black box, by the way, is the EDP. And the black bottle that comes in a pink box. So they're making it confusing as well, but that one is the EDT. And the black bottle I have seen on several YouTube channels, people raving about it still to this day. And I never ever understood how anybody can actually like that fragrance, but apparently a lot of people do. So I guess it's just me. I hate this fragrance. To me, it smells like musk, definitely musk, but I actually love musk, but this smells so animalic with like rose and a bunch of mold. I think this fragrance smells like mold, like a moldy old winter coat that was tucked away in a really old closet of a person that has passed 30 years ago, and you just now open up the closet and you take out the coat and it's filled with mold because it was wet and it didn't get any oxygen. And that is what this smells like, in my opinion. I think I gave that description already with another fragrance and I don't really remember which it was. But yeah, this is not my vibe. I think actually if you like Mystic Rose from the Rose Chapter collection, also by Zara, I think you might like this one, in case you don't know what For Her by Narciso Rodriguez smells like. It also gave me that really, really old, like headache-inducing, moldy vibe. I'm not saying they smell the same, but it's sort of like, yeah, they're sort of the same category to me. So it just smells old and stuffy and feel like what the 80s smelled like. I don't know, I wasn't alive back then, but yeah, I think, but you know, this is just my opinion because I know that so many people love For Her and it is duping that one, so I guess it's just me. I'm not saying it's a badly made fragrance. I'm sure there's a huge crowd for it, but yeah, if you're like me and you don't love For Her by Narciso Rodriguez, don't even try this one. You are not going to like it. Unfortunately, I don't know how long it lasted because I scrubbed it off about, I gave it also like 20 minutes or so, but I just noticed that it doesn't even matter how this is gonna transform from now on because there's no way that I'm suddenly gonna like it now. So I did scrub it off. Let me know in the comments if you like this fragrance or if you like For Her by Narciso Rodriguez. Or are you like me and you're just like, how on earth can anybody like this fragrance? I would love to know, but yeah, that was Bright Rose. By the way, this name, there is nothing bright about this fragrance. It probably has rose though, but yeah, that was Bright Rose. Now the last fragrance we're gonna talk about is called Black Peony. And for some reason, this is an EDT and not an EDP like the other three. Just so you know, honestly, I didn't really notice any quality issues with this one. It's not lighter than the other ones, so I wouldn't really call it an EDT personally, but yeah, that's what they say that this is. And on the Zara website, they are listing some notes, and I'm only now discovering that the description for these notes is the same as the description for Powdery Magnolia, which I already found a little bit weird as I didn't really get any of the notes in that one. To me, Powdery Magnolia is just a rose-centered fragrance, just like Chloe by Chloe is. That's 2 times more Chloe. But yeah, so Zara messed up and they copy-pasted these notes with Powdery Magnolia as well. So this is the one that actually has Black Peony, Peach, and Patchouli. And I found not 1, not 2, but 3 Fragrantica listings under the name Black Peony, and all 3 of them say that you know, in the This Reminds Me Of section, they all 3 get compared to Flowerbomb by Victor and Rolf. And let me already tell you straight up that yes, this again is a dupe for Flowerbomb. Now Zara has another dupe for Flowerbomb. I swear to God, they are making it so complicated, but yeah. They have another dupe for it. It's called Oriental. I had that one for a while, but the thing with Flowerbomb is that I have a friend who has been wearing Flowerbomb ever since she was 16 years old. Today she's 35. She still wears Flowerbomb, like all day, every season of the year, every event, always Flowerbomb, which kind of makes me not able to smell Flowerbomb as a fragrance anymore. I just smell my friend. Do you have that with a fragrance where you're just like, I don't even know what I'm picking up on? I'm just smelling that particular person, like someone who really wears something as a signature scent. For me, that is Flowerbomb. So, do I like this fragrance? Yes, because it reminds me of that person, but other than that, it's just a very sweet fragrance. The name is the name here is Black Peony, but let me just talk about Flowerbomb as these are very similar. Flowerbomb is named Flowerbomb. If you would have asked me, I would have called it Sweet Bomb, because I do think it's a very sweet, non-gourmand fragrance. It definitely has patchouli, but not, I don't think it's too much patchouli. I do think the other notes are well combined with the patchouli. If you don't know what Flowerbomb smells like, I think you might like it if you like La Vie est Belle by Lancôme. They smell different, but they're definitely in the same category. So anyways, does it smell like Flowerbomb? Yes, absolutely. I gave it 1 spray and my friend's face just popped up in my head. So I think that she only wears the original though, so I think that's a pretty good sign that they duped it pretty well. And that is pretty much all I have to say about this fragrance. I kind of forgot to rate the previous fragrance, the one that I hate. It's pretty clear that for me, it's a 1 out of 10 fragrance. But again, that's my personal taste. Maybe you're gonna like the fragrance. I mean, I'm sure there's a crowd for it, but my personal rating for that one is 1 out of 10. For Black Peony, it's so difficult to really go in depth on my analysis of this one, as I've been smelling this fragrance for so long. Almost 20 years. I mean, that's how long me and my friend have been friends, and she has been wearing that fragrance. So to me, I think I would rate it, I think I'm also gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I do think a lot of people are gonna like this fragrance, and I do think it's a very decent dupe for Flowerbomb. So yeah, that was Black Peony. And we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you thought it was somewhat helpful. That actually really supports my channel, and it's free for you to do and very easy. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this release. Do you think that the dupes are well made? Do you smell the originals in this? Well, the originals, you know, the fragrances that they are duping. I would love to hear, and I also would love to hear if you are team love or hate when it comes to Narciso Rodriguez's For Her. It can't just be me, okay? So I need some people telling me that they hate it too. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!